I have been sitting here thinking about our Indianapolis Colts, and honestly, the anticipation for this summer is already reaching a fever pitch. A massive update just dropped that marks a major turning point for the franchise, and it carries more emotional weight than I think any of us were prepared for. There is something truly special about how this specific chapter is coming to a close, and the implications for our future are undeniable. The more details revealed, the harder it is to stay calm. Smash that like button, subscribe, and drop your name and city below. Let's get into it. The Indianapolis Colts have officially announced the 2026 training camp schedule, marking the final time we will gather at Grand Park in Westfield for this annual tradition. Since 2018, this facility has served as our home away from home, hosting 8 consecutive camps that have defined the modern era of the franchise. We have watched stars emerge and championship foundations built on these fields, making this site an integral part of our collective identity as Indianapolis Colts fans. Now, the league confirms that rookies report on July 27th, followed by veterans on July 28th, with on-field work beginning July 29th. The schedule is packed with themed sessions like Family Day, Salute to Service, and Kicking the Stigma, leading up to a grand finale on August 20th. What makes this even bigger are the 2 joint practices against Kevin Stefanski's Atlanta Falcons on August 19th and 20, serving as the perfect appetizer for our August 22 preseason clash at Lucas Oil Stadium. Tickets are available at Colts.com, with most sessions free and others costing only $5. And honestly, this news hits us in a bittersweet way. Knowing this is the final year at Grand Park brings a wave of nostalgia for the memories created in Westfield, yet it signals that change is coming for the organization. The bottom line here is that while the venue might shift in the future, our commitment to supporting Shane Steichen and Chris Ballard remains absolute. As we prepare for this last stand in Westfield, we are focused on the ultimate goal of bringing glory back to the city. Whether it is a themed practice or a high-stakes joint session, we will be there cheering for the blue and white until the very end, always standing tall for the shoe. The bottom line here is that this 8th year at Grand Park marks the definitive end of an era for the franchise, a decision largely driven by the team wanting to explore new training environments after the lease agreement reached its natural expiration. Since moving camp to Westfield in 2018, the team has invested significantly in the facility. But as we look back, the shift reflects a desire for logistical flexibility that GM Chris Ballard and head coach Shane Steichen have prioritized to maximize player performance. Think about it this way. The Colts have spent nearly a decade refining their routine in Westfield, a stark contrast to their historical years at Rose-Hulman Institute of Technology or Anderson University, where the atmosphere was entirely different. Behind closed doors, the front office is likely viewing this final residency as a chance to leave a lasting legacy before pivoting toward a future setup that could better align with the team's modern recovery technologies and high-tech scouting needs. With the joint practices against Kevin Stefanski and the Atlanta Falcons serving as the swan song for this location, it represents a massive logistical transition. Considering the team's commitment to avoiding injury cycles seen in past seasons, the focus on these specific themed days and controlled practice environments is paramount to maintaining the physical health of our veteran roster. And I'll be straight with you, while change can feel daunting for us as Indianapolis Colts fans, the organization is looking at this as a strategic upgrade rather than just a move, aiming to replicate the winning environment established at Grand Park while upgrading operational efficiency elsewhere. As we prepare to fill those stands one last time in Westfield, we must honor the memories made there as we push forward with total focus, always keeping the standard high as we scream for the shoe. The calendar just dropped for our final summer stay at Grand Park, and honestly, this marks the end of an era as we prepare for the last training camp in Westfield. This matters because Shane Steichen must sharpen his roster during these crucial weeks to ensure we hit the ground running when the regular season begins. With rookies arriving July 27th and veterans following, the intense competition for the final spots on the depth chart starts immediately, potentially saving the front office precious salary cap space by identifying bargain contributors. These sessions are not just for show, as the team will sharpen their schemes before hosting Kevin Stefanski and the Atlanta Falcons for 2 intense joint practices. Those days are vital prep for our Week 2 preseason matchup at Lucas Oil Stadium, acting as a true litmus test for our starters. Looking at the bigger picture, this transition signals a final push for dominance in an increasingly crowded AFC South. We are currently battling the Houston Texans under DeMeco Ryans and the Tennessee Titans, who are now led by Robert Saleh and GM Mike Borgonzi, making every single practice snap count toward our ultimate goal of a deep postseason run. If we can solidify the trenches and finalize our rotation against high-level competition like Atlanta, we will be in prime position to reclaim the division crown and secure a home playoff game. The stakes are high for Chris Ballard to leverage these summer days into a cohesive unit that can finally clear the path for a championship. We need to be loud, we need to be present, and we must demand greatness from this squad as we prepare for the long road ahead. For the Shoe, it is time for us to show the rest of the league that we are the team to beat this year. The upcoming 2026 training camp marks our 8th and final year at Grand Park in Westfield, and the excitement surrounding this swan song is palpable. The primary upside of this tenure has been the intimate fan experience, as hosting joint practices against Kevin Stefanski's Atlanta Falcons provides a high-level test for Shane Steichen's squad before the preseason begins. By keeping operations in such a familiar, state-of-the-art facility, we have fostered a consistent culture that allows players to focus entirely on their craft. However, the counter-argument is that moving away from a long-term home creates logistical uncertainty for the franchise moving forward. Critics and league analysts point out that while Westfield offered proximity, transitioning to a new venue could disrupt the established routines of Chris Ballard's front office and the coaching staff. Many teams around the NFL are closely watching this transition, noting that leaving a proven site often invites unforeseen growing pains regarding player comfort and local community engagement. What nobody is talking about is how this shift might actually signal a broader evolution in how the Colts approach branding and local accessibility in the coming years. And I will be straight with you, this move feels like the right moment for a change, because staying stagnant in sports is a recipe for mediocrity. I firmly believe that by closing this chapter, we open the door to a more modern, downtown-centric vision that could bring the energy of Lucas Oil Stadium closer to our everyday practice life. While saying goodbye to the fields in Westfield is bittersweet, it represents a necessary step toward the next era of championship football. It is time for us to embrace this transition and stay focused on our ultimate goal as we continue to push for the Shoe until we finally hoist that trophy once again. The truth is that this final summer at Grand Park marks a massive turning point for our franchise as we transition into a new era of infrastructure under the guidance of Shane Steichen and Chris Ballard. This schedule signals a clear shift in long-term planning, as the team prepares to eventually move operations closer to the core facilities at the stadium. We should feel incredibly energized heading into this camp because the joint sessions against Kevin Stefanski and the Atlanta Falcons prove that our coaching staff is prioritizing high-intensity preparation to elevate this roster. This is where it gets real, as these drills against elite competition will harden our players before the grueling grind of the regular season kicks off. We are building a contender here, and the focus on consistency from July through August shows that Steichen is serious about establishing a winning identity that lasts. You should feel optimistic because this team has the talent, the veteran leadership, and now the precise mapped-out training plan to hit the ground running. When you look at the growth of our young core, it becomes clear that this training camp is the final step before we truly compete for a deep playoff run. I want to know your thoughts on this major development, so tell me in the comments section. Will the final year at Westfield serve as the perfect springboard for us to finally overtake the division rivals? If you enjoyed the video, do not forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. For the Shoe, I'll see you in the next one. Until then, keep your eyes locked on the gridiron as we track every snap, highlight, and breaking story shaping this thrilling campaign. The journey toward greatness starts right here, so stay tuned for more.